Okay, this is Roger Sapp and Tom and Jody Chavan, and we were talking about the fact that they were coming on a trip to Australia with me, where we saw a great number of miracles and signs and wonders, and Jesus healing people who were seriously injured. But Jody had some anxiety on the way over, and I thought it was an interesting story to hear that. So tell us about that, Jody.
Lots of anxiety. While we had been doing all of that stuff at Roger's house, we had done it as a group. So most of the time we had at least 5 or 6 people laying hands on someone that we were praying for. So for me to step out and lay hands on somebody by myself was very foreign to me. Even though I knew Jesus was the healer, I still put some of myself in there. So we're on the plane, and I am so nervous, and my stomach is upset, and I can't sleep on the plane. I'm not hungry. All I'm thinking about is, Lord, I cannot believe that we are going to Australia. I cannot believe that we're going to be praying for people and that we're going to see people get healed. It was definitely not comfortable for me yet. So
this was not a short plane ride either.
21 hours.
21 hours.
Okay. I had lots of time to be in prayer and to be in the Word.
And Tom and I think both of us slept.
You can watch 8 full-length movies.
Yeah.
Simple. Yeah. Really easy trip.
And I don't like movies. So I think my biggest concern was that I didn't want to fail anyone when I prayed for them. I didn't want to fail the people I prayed for, and I didn't want to disappoint the Lord. So I still had a lot of focus on myself and not on what the Scriptures say, because the Scriptures say it's not about you, it's about the Lord working through you. So we are just the body, we are just the hands, and He's the one that produces the miracles. So we get to Australia. We go to our first church,
Sydney House of Worship.
Sydney House of Worship, and Roger did an awesome. Once again, I'm going to pat him. He did an awesome presentation of the gospel, and we saw a young man. We usually call for someone in the audience to come up to do a demonstration. Usually, it's a bad back, a bad shoulder, someone that's having pain somewhere in their body. So when we lay hands on them, we can see an immediate change. The pain usually goes away. They're able, if they've got a bad back, they're able to bend over and stretch. And I mean, it's immediate. That is.
We do this for the sake of the audiences who many times have never seen anything like that.
Right, and most people have not. So we had a young man that was standing in the back of the room talking to Roger from back there, and he was having extreme pain. I don't know how long he had been in pain, but it was a long time. He was on medications. Roger said, "Are you taking meds right now?" He said, "Well, yes, I have to, because I wouldn't be able to even come here if I wasn't on a pain medication." And Roger said, "Well, you know what, go ahead and come on up." And as the man is walking up from the back of the room, he's getting the strangest look on his face, and he's moving, and everybody's commenting, and there's a lot of laughter going on because the man got healed walking up to the front to be the demonstration.
He couldn't find his pain.
He couldn't find it. I mean, and it just set the whole church on fire. So what we also normally do is we divide into groups. We had a prayer team from the church that wanted to experience that also, to lay hands on people, and then Roger and his wife Ann and Tom and I. Roger had presented us as, this is Tom and Jody, and they've got healing working, and I'm sitting here thinking, man, I wish I felt like we have healing working.
But they did have it working. I'd seen them function.
We did. The first woman that came up in our line had fallen down the back steps of her house, and she had broken all the bones on her right cheek. They were flat, and she couldn't see out of her right eye. That's all we knew, was that she couldn't see. And we just simply laid hands on her and had her claim, "This healing belongs to me because of what Jesus has done." We did the same thing, and she started getting her sight back. And she started seeing colors, and then she started seeing lines, and it was just full blown, the whole thing. She got all of it back, and we were just so excited. I mean, I had never laid hands on anybody and seen this happen to this degree. We'd seen the cancer, but this was immediate. And
Well, right then the lady's husband came up and he says, "This is a miracle, this is a miracle." I said, "Well, every healing's a miracle." He said, "No, you don't understand. She fell down a flight and a half of steps, severed her optic nerve. The doctor said she would never ever see again." And he was just all thrilled and everything. And you know, first person, first church, first healing. We're down there to heal, and we're not doing it. So I said, "Next." Just
You were really confident about the next one.
without pressure, just a very functional thing. Okay,
Certainly helps to get the first person you pray for healed, doesn't it?
Amen.
Oh yes.
well, also additionally, the broken bones that were in her cheek, as she turned to show everybody she could see them, the Lord had restored every one of the bones in her face, and we were not even focused on that. And that was just, wow. We had no reservations. I had absolutely none, because at that point I knew that I could not heal anyone. It was obvious. And we saw,
the Lord.
yeah, it was the Lord doing it, but we saw more and more people that
Jody
night.
couldn't sleep on the plane going over there because she was anxious, but then after this, she couldn't sleep because she was excited. So about 3 days or 4 days, she was unable to sleep.
Oh.
And during those 3 or 4 days, of course, you saw a lot more miracles, which I think that we'll share in the next segment.